Today we're going to be doing a tutorial for Cobblemon on how to implement your own custom Pokemon or Fakemon for account. I will not be going over how to do variants or anything like that. I'm just going to go over the complete basics of how to just implement your own Fakemon. I will be following the Cobblemon tutorial, but I am making this video because even though this tutorial exists, a lot of people I realized in the Discord for the mod are asking for more videos and more help anyways, because the tutorial is a little bit confusing at first, and it's good to hear input, I guess. So what you're going to need to know for implementing your own custom Pokemon is you don't really need coding knowledge, which is a good thing. You will have to know how to install a resource pack and data packs into Minecraft. You will have to know how to use Blockbench, and we'll go over a little bit that more later. And you will have to know how to use JSON files. But besides that, there isn't really any coding aspects to this, which is really nice. So it makes it really easy, really simple. So to create a Fakemon, we will be creating a resource pack and a data pack. So basically the data pack is going to be on your world side, and this is going to handle all the information on the Fakemon. So like its moves, its spawn areas, everything like that. Your resource pack is going to handle the model and animations for the Pokemon and everything like that. So as we go through, they talk about this here. So yeah, creating your own custom Pokemon. You're going to need a model, texture, and an animation. Got to use this through Blockbench, and I'll go over that in a second. Okay, so I guess we're going to start off with Blockbench here. So we open up Blockbench. You see here we got this menu. What we're going to want to do is we're going to create a bedrock entity, and we're going to create a new model. We're going to call it whatever we want. So today I'm going to be making Netherrack, and we will be keeping it a texture size of 16 by 16, and we're going to keep it a box UV. We're going to press confirm here. This is not going to be a tutorial on Blockbench. For you, watch something else, but that's just necessary to know to insert and export. All right, so I'm going to just quickly create a model here. Okay, now we got a model, so now we got to get to the animations part. You do have to name them a specific way, so when you add an animation, make sure when you go through, there's going to be different types of animation, and if we look through here, we can find that out. So we're gonna get ground idle, ground walk, water idle, water swim, air idle. Idle. Why am I saying idle? It's idle. Air fly, sleep, and faint. So basically what this means is going to look like here. So what that look like is we want to make a ground idle animation. So it's going to continue this. The name is going to be animation.netherrack.ground idle. File doesn't really matter. And because it's an idle animation, we want to loop. And we're going to press confirm. And now we got our idle animation. And it's very specific that it is named this way, or else the game will understand what it's looking for. For the sake of this tutorial, I am just going to be copying an old animation that I made. So that's Blockbench. So now how we're going to export this is we're going to go into File. We're going to export, and then we're going to make sure we're going to export as a bedrock geometry. I'm just going to save that to my desktop for now. And then the animations, we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to save them all. Make sure it's saved and looks like that. Okay, now we got to start organizing and creating these files. So for the models file, we're going to go over here, and I'm going to create a new file. We're going to just call this YouTube tutorial. And we're going to create a new file called assets. This is going to store every piece of information that we need for the resource pack. So now we're going to assets. And now if we look at here again, it's going to say create Cobblemon. So now we go in here again. Actually, we should do this. Create new folder. Cobblemon. Now we go into Cobblemon and we create a new folder called Bedrock. And we go into a new folder called we're going to rename this models. And then where it says Pokemon, we're just not actually gonna call it Pokemon. We're gonna actually call that Netherrack. It's gonna be the name of the Pokemon that you are creating. And then we go into here, and then we're actually gonna take the model that we just made, and we're going to put it into here. So that's gonna be your netherrack.go.json file. Now I know, like, wow, this is a lot of just folders to go into. It is very important that these are it is really important that these folders are in the correct source like this, or else the game won't know where to correctly look and it will not know that they're there. So now we're going to do the same thing again, but we're going to go back to Cobblemon. We're going to create a new folder called textures, and this, oh my god, we're going to call it textures, and then we're going to just call this, I can stop misclicking, I'm so sorry. We're going to create another new folder called Pokemon, and we go again with Netherrack, and then it's going to say the Pokemon.png doesn't have to be that way, but it already is. So we're just going to copy that texture. We're going to put that in here. And yeah, so that's the texture for the Netherrack. What we're also going to want to do is create a shiny texture. So let's call this Netherrack shiny. And then I got Netherrack shiny color, and that's how we implement that. Okay, so this is where we're going to store the textures for the Pokemon and the model. This is where we're going to store the textures that's going to be used for the model. Next, we got to create the animations folder so we can have a place to store the animation. We're going to wait, I made a mistake here. I'm sorry. The texture folder should not be in the Bedrock. It should be in here. Get rid of that. I don't know when it went back to Bedrock, but I'm glitching out. All right, so now we go into back in Bedrock. We're going to create a new folder. This one's going to be for our animations. So just like before, we're going to create a new folder again. We name it Pokemon. And then we're going to take the animations that we made and we're going to put them in here. So this is going to be where your model, your texture, and animations are stored. So these are going to show up in the game. But now we got to tell the game how to find these and where to put them in the game. And that's what the poser file is for. So what we're going to go here is we're going to create another new file. We're going to go back to Bedrock. We're going to go into new folder, posers, and then we're going to go here. And then we're going to make a new JSON file. We're going to call this Netherrack.json. For JSON, I'm going to personally be using VS Code. I would personally find a JSON editor that you like. I would not recommend Notepad because it will not tell you any errors that you are making. Let's open up this JSON here. So now we're going to have to open this up. And you're going to see it's a pretty big file. So we're going to go through this slowly and we're going to try to explain everything that's in here. Let's copy and paste all that. Okay, so now we got the head here. My guy doesn't actually really have a head, so I don't personally need this, but this could be where the head of your Pokemon is. And if you look into your Blockbench again, you can see that there's a thing called a bone here. So this bone is going to be, so the name of your head should be the name of this bone. So if I were to do mine, I would just make sure to name it bone. Just for the sake of it, I'll keep it like that. This is going to be your portrait scale. So when you have the Pokemon in game, there's going to be the sidebar with your Pokemon. That's what this is going to be for. This is going to be what the scaling and the position of where your Pokemon is going to show up in that sidebar. Same thing with the profile scale, except this is going to be when you open up the menu. This is what's going to be showing up. So next is going to get into our animations. Well, this one's going to be specifically what your faint animation is. So this is your faint animation. This could be your bedrock. It says Tentacle right here. Our guy's not named Tentacle, so let's make sure it's just changed to Netherrack. So notice use the Netherrack faint animation. And this is going to be your poses. So these are going to be all your animations that it's going to find. So here we got the standing. We keep that as standing. The transform ticks is every single time that an animation is going to occur. So these are your pose types. You don't really want to mess with this when you come here. This could be your animations again. A lot of animations in this file. Make sure that these are all named to the correct Pokemon type. If it was Tentacle, it would not work. So this could be your idle animations, basically. So it's going to know when it's standing, and while it's standing and in the profile or in the portrait, it's just going to run that idle animation and look around too if you're able to. Next up is going to be your walking animation. So it's just simple as you're walking. Pose name is walking. Transform ticks. That's how fast it's going to go. And your pose types is the type that's going to run, and your animations. So this is going to link to the animation. So you can see as ground walk. Make sure this is also Netherrack, or whatever you named your mon. So our guy doesn't have a floating or a swimming animation, so we're just going to delete these here. So this could be your poser file. This is what handles the scaling and the profile and the animations. Now, if we continue on with this tutorial, we're going to get to the species file. This is also going to be in your assets folder. So let's create our species folder. So we go back here, Bedrock, new folder, species, and we're going to call this one. Oh wait, we were supposed to create a JSON file, not that. New text document, 0 dash Pokemon, Netherrack underscore base JSON. Make sure when you make this that when you go into your view, you do have file extensions installed. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. Oops, I just turned it off. So basically, like what's with the 0, what's with the base? So basically this would be for your forms, but since we're going to the forms, we are just going to keep this one base form, so they don't really matter for this tutorial. So let's open this up, and we're going to go back down here, and we're going to copy all this again. Okay, so this is going to be the name of our species that we're going to try to find. Since our guy's called Netherrack, we call him Netherrack. And this order, this is for the order of the different variations or forms that you're going to create. We only have one, so it's going to be 0. Aspects is kind of the same thing. It's going to identify the form or base. The poser is going to be looking for that poser file that we actually made earlier. So we're going to quickly rename that to Netherrack. And then it's going to try to look for that model. So we're going to do that to Netherrack as well. And then our texture file. So this one, we got to make sure it's all Netherrack. Make sure it's all directed to the correct file locations. And then the aspects here is going to be shiny. So this is what's going to be looking for our shiny. So yeah. Make sure it's just directed to the texture of Netherrack. This is going to be for other forms, but since we're not going to do that, we're just going to delete this. Okay, so this is basically our resource file. This is how it's going to find and create those models in game. But now we don't have any actual data for them on, so we're going to start actually adding to our data pack now. So we're gonna go back to here, and we're gonna go all the way back here, and we're gonna create a new file called data, and it's gonna follow the same format again. New species custom, and this file is basically going to say, hey, this is a custom mon. This is not in the original game. So we're going to call this netherrack. Oops. JSON, and we're going to hit OK. We're going to open this up now. So they start you off with just an empty file, and then as we go down here, they're going to slowly introduce us to features. So let's just copy this all again. Okay. So why did I copy? Oop, yeah, never mind. These are actually important. Make sure you have these in there as well. Okay, so implemented is basically say, hey, this mon is going to be implemented into the game. The name is make sure that it knows that this is the netherrack, and that's also going to connect to the resource pack, so they're all connected. Your labels is a custom mon, so just keep it custom. Cobblemon, species, Pokedex. This is not too important, but make sure that it is correct. This is basically your Pokedex entries, but since Pokedex entries are not currently in the game yet, they're not going to show up. Pre-evolutions, we currently don't have any pre-evolutions, so we can actually delete this, but if you do have a pre-evolution, you just do it that way. And again, we don't have any special forms or features, so we're just going to delete this as well. This is going to tell the Pokedex the height and the weight of the mon. We're just going to change this because I don't think a piece of netherrack would be too heavy. I forget exactly. I think it does say what it is. It is in decimeters and hectograms. So yeah. And the weight, let's just say 30. It's not that heavy. I don't know how realistic that is. For the sake of the tutorial, doesn't really matter. So for the forms here, we're going to keep this. So it's going to be a list of forms. There is just a normal form. It's not a variant. So we're just going to keep it as normal. Really wish it didn't spread out like this when I copy and paste. So next one is shoulder mountable. So this is if you could put them on your shoulder. So we're just going to keep that at false since it's not. And this is the effect that you can apply when you add to your shoulder. So this could be slow fall, haste, any kind of potion effect that you could think of. You add that there. This is completely disorganized. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. It could look more like this. Okay, so next part of the tutorial, let's go to this. We're gonna get to the stats of the mons. Let's copy all of this in again. Yeah, make sure that is correct. So this could be the primary type of the mon. Since it is netherrack, I'm gonna give it the fire rock type for now. And base stats, so this could be your HP. You can simply change this by changing this. Let's give it a base HP of 75. Let's give it an attack of 50. A defense of 60. Let's get a little more defensive on the side. Maybe it has a little bit. Good special attacks. Let's give that 45. I mean, these stats aren't that good, so don't expect this mon to be amazing. Let's give it a special defense of 65 and a speed of 50. Could be pretty weak mon, but that's okay. And this could be your catch rate. The lower the number, the harder it is for the mon to be caught. I don't want the netherrack to be that hard to caught, so we're going to keep that at 30. For the male ratio, this is going to be when you counter in the wild. Is it going to be female? Is it going to be male? There's a 50% chance of it being male and a 50% chance of being female is basically what this is saying. Your base experience yield. This is going to be how much experience it gives off when it faints, basically. So how much you're going to gain from battling this Pokemon. The experience group. This is going to be how many. This is going to be how quickly your Pokemon can grow itself. So fluctuating, I think, is pretty hard. If you look it up, you can get a list of all the different types. Your egg cycles. This could be how quickly your eggs hatch. Since eggs are not in the game yet, doesn't really matter. Egg groups, you gotta look it up too, but there's gonna be, if you look online, you can find the list. Your base friendship, so I think this is the base friendship that you get when you first encounter them on and catch it with a normal Pokeball. Your EV yield, this is going to be how much EVs the Pokemon gives off when you make it faint. So let's just give it 2 HP for now. All right, so next up is your moves and abilities. So let's go here and paste that in again. Make sure that everything is correct. These dots are very important because it kind of separates all the fields. Commas, I mean. Actually, you're not really like a mineral egg group. All right, so these are gonna be your moves. So the way you differentiate is you type in egg first for an egg move with the colon and then the name of the move. For each level, you just type the level, you don't even type in level, just type in the level that's at, and then the move, TM, type TM, tutor, tutor. And then for the abilities, you just put the abilities in this list, and if you want its hidden ability, you put an H in the front. So let's give it some moves. Let's just keep it at that for now. Okay. So now we go into evolutions. Our guy is not going to have an evolution, but basically the way to implement an evolution is you're going to make the evolution tag here. You're going to give the ID. Your ID is going to be your unique way. So usually it's going to be the Pokemon from before, the Pokemon that evolves into, and how the method of evolving that Pokemon. So for the variant, it's going to be, in this case, they evolve from trade. So you type in the variant and the trade. You can also do level up and item interaction. So that's how you can differentiate between them. Okay, so for the results, this is what it's going to evolve into. So for Tentacle here, this one's unique because even if the pity pole is not shiny, it's going to automatically evolve into a shiny. If it is already, the game will already know if the Pokemon is shiny, so you don't have to put the shiny here, and you should be good. So Tentacle, what it evolves into, so you put that, and then the form that you want to evolve into. But since we don't have a new form, we don't need that. This is basically telling it to consume an item. If it does, it will consume that item, and it's basically saying it has to know the move. Oh, when it evolves, it will know the move Double Slap. And then some requirements, it has to have an held item of a Pokeball. So that's for trading. And then here's an example for item interaction. So it has to interact with the glowberries. And then this one's going to be just for level up. So it has to be a minimum level of 100, which is crazy. Wow. Up to evolve into the Mischief form. Yes. And then you can also give it a biome requirement here. So it has to be at the beach as well. So now we got to give it some properties. So it's going to be copy and paste this. So this is going to be your base scale. So this is going to be the scale of the model when it comes to your game. You just want to be normal scale. We're going to give it a 1. This is going to be a hitbox. This is going to be the size of your form in the hitbox. And it doesn't fix. I'm not. Hold on. And fix is hitbox in place or not. This should be set to false for. Okay. So this could be your drops table. So when you defeat them on, it's got to drop something, right? So let's give this an amount of 1, and then let's say, make it sure it drops Netherrack, because it is Netherrack. And then quality change of 1 to 2. It's only 1 piece of Netherrack, so it's on. And let's make sure it's 100%. So every time you knock out a Netherrack, it will drop 1 piece of Netherrack. This could be the behavior of the Mon in the game. So our guy can't breathe underwater, so let's make that false. And our guy definitely cannot swim, so let's make that false as well. And then our guy cannot fly, so that's going to stay false. And it cannot look around since he doesn't have a head, so that's going to be false as well. Let's go down here, and that's it. With that, you've successfully created your Mon. At this point, you should currently have 2 directories, assets and data, and a packed up MC meta file. Okay, so the MC meta file, that's simple. We go here, we're gonna create a new text document. We're just gonna call it mcpack.mcmeta. And we're gonna open this as well. And basically what goes inside here is you can go here and you're gonna get separate ones for the resource pack and the data pack. Let's go into the data pack one. And here's gonna be examples. So this is gonna be what it looks like. Let's copy and paste this. So here we got pack and your pack format. So this could be for version 10. So if we look here, look what version 10 is, it's gonna be for 1.19 through 1.19.3. So that's what we want. And then this the description of the pack. So let's say YouTube tutorial, make sure to subscribe. We're gonna save that. Make sure we save this as well. And now this is what your MC meta game. This is basically be what tells the game, hey, this is a resource pack, and hey, this is a data pack. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take this, we're gonna send to a compressed folder. We're gonna call this netherrack. Now we're gonna open up our .mc. Go to app data. We're gonna open up our resource packs. We're gonna make sure we put that in there. Let's open up Minecraft. Now in the tutorial, it does say to separate the two. You don't have to. You can keep them in the same folder. Just know that the resource pack will not read the data file and the data pack will not read the assets file. So let's make sure we open up Minecraft here with the mod. Okay, so now we're gonna go into options. We're gonna go resource pack and look at that right there, netherrack tutorial. It's gonna say incompatible. That's because with the data pack and the resource packs, the MC meta data isn't the same for both. So 10 maybe for the current version for the data pack, but for the resource packs, it's not going to say that. Don't worry, doesn't matter. Let's just open it up, add it to our game, and press done, and we shouldn't be getting any errors. All right, good. If you do ever run into errors, what you can do is when in your .minecraft folder, you can go into your logs folder and make sure you look at your latest .logs folder, and it should tell you any errors that you get. Let's open up a single player world. Let's create a new one. All right, let's open up our data pack folder, open pack folder, into compressed folder. It doesn't need to be a compressed folder. I'm just doing this for the sake of simplicity and making sure it's all in one place. Put that in there. Now it should show up in here. Cool. There it is. Press done. Cool. Validated. Everything works well. Call this survive. And doesn't really matter what that is. Make sure we're in creative mode. Those cheats are on. Let's create a new world. Now we're in the world. I'm just gonna randomly select Bulbasaur. Cool. Now we're in here. Let's try to spawn one in. So focus spawn netherrack. There it is. Look at that. Boom. Press it in, and here he is in the game. Now you're gonna notice immediately. Why does it say cobblemon.species.netherrack.name? Well, we're gonna have to figure that out, aren't we? Let's go back. For some reason, my video cut off right there. So I already created the files, so we're just gonna go through them real quick, I guess. Okay, so what we do is we go back into the assets, we go in here and we make a lang file, and we're gonna create an English one with the US, and we're gonna open that up, and that's gonna bring us here. So what we do is we create the Cobblemon species.netherrack.name, and we call it netherrack, and that's how we change its name. And in game, it's gonna look like that now. So as you can see, it's no longer the long, weird looking thing. The other two are the, oh my god, I can never press the right buttons. The other two are the descriptions for the Pokedexes. So netherrack got bored one day, so I decided to become alive. The next thing that we did was we created a spawn pool. So what we do is we go back to here, we go back to the YouTube tutorial, we go to data, Cobblemon, spawn pool world is the file that we created, and we open the netherrack.json again. And it's going to open up this. So what this is we got the ID of the spawn pool, the Pokemon that it wants to spawn, the presets. So these are going to be a set of blocks they're going to do. I'll leave a link in the description. It's also on their Discord, of all the different type of presets that they use for all the blocks. And then we're going to get the type, so it's Pokemon. The context, so it has to be on the ground for it to spawn. The bucket is going to be common, common, uncommon, rare, and ultra rare. These are basically the rarity spawn pools. And then the next is the levels. These are the levels that will spawn in the wild. And the weight is going to be how much we prioritize the spawning of this mon within this bucket. So 10 is going to be the highest you can go, to the lowest being 0.1, I believe. And the conditions, can it see the sky? So if it's false, it cannot see the sky, so there has to be roof over the head for it to spawn. If it's true, it could just spawn out in the wild without any roof over its head. The biomes, so these could be the spiles that I could spawn on. For us, we want to spawn in the nether, so this is going to take every single biome in the nether, and it just has to be in the nether to spawn. I'll also link in description a list of this as well. And the last one is you don't need this, but I added for this mon because I only want him to spawn on netherrack. So it's the needed nearby block, and it has to be nearby netherrack. So that's going to be spawn pool. So I can see here, we're in the nether. To demonstrate, we go around, we should find, besides other random Pokemon, maybe that's a Ghastly. Continue walking around, we should be able to see him spawning. Another way to see if it does spawn, like if it has a chance to spawn here, if you do check spawn and then the bucket that it spawns in, if you see it's like, oh, netherrack is not there, then you didn't do it correctly. But netherrack is here, so we know that we did correctly. And look at that, there is a wild spawning netherrack. I completely forgot to show off the menu. So yeah, if you actually look at the Fakemon, it does show off in here. Rock, Throw, Ember, these are all the moves that it's know. It's not going to know any more moves because it's not that. You can see the typing it is, the held item it has, and you can see that it is implemented in the game. It isn't correctly displayed on the side, but you can change that in the poser assets. And yeah. Yeah, so that is how you implement Fakemon with the Cobblemon mod. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you want me to go over more stuff in the future, let me know. Leave any comments if you have any more questions. I will also leave a link to the Discord so you can join that. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys. Make sure you leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.